Welcome back to For the Mamas Collective Podcast, a space where we believe in the power of connection and shared experiences.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jaleesa, and y'all, we made it. If you've been around, you should know you should have been waiting with us. This is our 21st episode, and we're pausing to celebrate that as it is a very big deal for us.
Yes, I'm lost for words already because it's so exciting. I'm like a big old kid. Okay, so this isn't just another episode. When we started um, and started talking to each other, and then of course Trey's a big podcast listener, but he told me what the 21st episode was, right? So this
Hmm.
statistic we grabbed off Buzzsprout, but yes, 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3.
That's crazy.
Right. And of those that do, another 90% stop before episode 20. So 21 is a huge milestone. And I think the numbers I saw somewhere else, but it was like the 10% that make it, it's like a total of like 200,000 people
Wow.
that make it, yeah, past episode 3.
That's
And so,
crazy.
right, when another 90% drop off, you just kind of realize like how much grinding, you really did
Hmm.
because there's people who stopped. And I just
Hmm.
think I'm so proud of us. Mm.
Yes, right? I mean, and it definitely some things definitely pop up and adjustments need to be made, but here we are, episode 21, still
Yeah.
showing up, still making the space and holding the mic, holding each other down, and it's worth it. And to be two busy moms of multiple children and running households and stuff,
Oh yeah.
it's not easy to come and do this every day. I mean, we ain't
Hmm.
getting paid yet. Uh, so, to carve out that time, and I think sticking to the boundary of this is something I want to do. So I need my life to understand that. And I need to, respect my own boundary and stick to it. That is hard. So yeah, 21's been in my mind like, okay, we get to 21, it's easy. It becomes easier. It's like, oh, now it's a natural thing. I expect to be doing this. It doesn't feel like hard work.
Right. Yeah. And I think that in so many ways, just the commitment we've put forth thus far,
Yeah.
just speaks to who we are as
Mm-hmm.
individuals, as women, as mothers, as wives and partners. So we're going to dive into that. But
Okay.
before we get too deep, we'll start with our Rose and Thorn check-in. You want to kick it off, Jaleesa?
Okay. My rose is, aside from being consistent with this, I think really being consistent with chasing, I don't want to say chasing a dream, but just refining my career,
Mm-hmm.
continuing on with that. So I have a couple things coming up that I'm doing outside of work that's really exciting, and then just with work, like I'm a really great supervisor. I'm really killing it, and that's my roles. That despite a lot that I have going on in the background, the way I'm
Mm-hmm.
showing up, I can be proud of that. So
And you
that's
should be.
yeah, I certainly am. And so that's one of my things is as much as I can question what I'm doing and how I'm showing up, when I really stop and think, like, no, I am really killing it in a lot of places. So I'm a little shaky, but for the most part, it feels good to show up and be my authentic self. I think that's the main part,
Mm,
is like I'm 100% me in every area of life. Everybody's getting the same version, same me, maybe a little bit different, but I'm the same. And
yeah.
it took a while to get there, so I'm happy about that. My thorn, I don't know. What is my thorn? My thorn is I wish I had more time. Like I'm killing it, but also I'm not doing what I need to do with my time, but it's adjusting with the kids being here for summer break and
Mm-hmm.
actually having the time to actually do fun things where I'm like,
Yeah.
y'all here, but I'm working. So
Mm-hmm.
this is not really fun time. That's a thorn for me because that's where I feel guilty. It's like, well, yeah, y'all been waiting for me to get off work all day, but for me, I have a break and then I go back to work. So they think I'm done and I'm not.
Yeah.
So we don't do a whole lot of anything until the end of the week. So that's just a thorn. I'm not outside as much as I would like to be.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure what my thorn was, and now that you've said that, I'm kind of just sitting there with you because I feel it. I'm grateful that my mind races the way it does, and that I feel
Mhm.
like I have all these wonderful ideas and things that I want to do, in my career, in my personal life, with the children, with the family. And time doesn't always permit. And so I
Mhm.
think that's the thorn, just kind of, I don't know, dealing with my own disappointment that like I didn't
Mhm.
get to do everything I wanted to do. Um, because it's hard. And like you said, like it's summer, I'm hard pressed to say beautiful outside. It's
Yeah.
hot as HE double hockey sticks.
Yeah.
But all that to say, like the sun is shining,
Right.
we work from home, and it would just be
Right.
so nice to like get out more, but also not be miserable once we step out the
Yeah.
house. Because like
Yeah.
it's, if you don't like pre-cool the car, is you don't even want to be outside. But yeah, so that's my thorn. It's just like I have all these things, and even I just feel like business ideas keep coming to me, or
Mm.
just like spiritual I'll say like awakenings, but just like
Mhm.
it's been like some really deep stuff like on my mind, on my heart, and I'm just like, oh God, this is
Mhm.
amazing. And then it's like when I sit down and try to like dial in, it's just like,
Mhm.
girl, don't you know basketball start in 20 minutes? Or you have to
Right.
do X, Y, and Z? Did you pay for the field trip for camp next week? Like
Mm.
there's just it's nonstop. Nonstop. So, but I will say, my rose, grateful for the holiday weekend.
Mhm.
We had a half day on Thursday since the holiday fell on Friday, and
Mm.
then Trey and I opted to take Monday off. So it's
Oh,
been a nice
nice.
long weekend. Grateful for the reset. We celebrated Trey's birthday yesterday. So
Oh, yeah, happy
that's, I know,
birthday.
he's getting old on me. He's getting old, but yeah, that was nice just to be able to do it and then kind of, recoup today, but also know that
Mhm.
like tomorrow we're not clocking right back in. And
Right.
so that's my rose, just finding those little moments where I can like pull some time for myself. We still taking the baby to school.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
I'm trying to get out of going to the gym. I don't know how that's gonna work. But the rose is that I will not be, I guess I don't clock in, but I will not be signing off. Like, boy, I changed my voicemail on Thursday.
Yeah.
I put out of office on the email. I'm not playing with anybody. Don't look for me.
Right,
Don't You will
right.
not be able to reach me until Tuesday. So, um, but yeah, that's my rose. Just kind of buying myself some time back.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so this is really, a very on time episode because, again, the time thing and to still make time and be committed is has been a challenge. So, I guess we
Yeah.
can get into it, right? What it means to stay the course. So let's talk about what it really takes to stick with something because whether it's this podcast or parenting or relationships, staying the course isn't about perfection as much as we like it to be. It's about presence.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's all I can say. The way life's been lifing, yes.
Mhm.
And I think as moms, like we live this every day.
Mm.
It's very just true. It kind of undeniable in that, there's no breaks from motherhood.
Mhm.
Especially in our minds, even when
Right.
like we were out last night and we had a sitter. We were planning to go get her afterwards, but like it got to a point in the evening where Trey was like, "What's wrong? Like your mood changed." And I was like,
Mhm.
well, I just, I'm trying to feel it out. Like, do we need to go? Is it time to get her? Do you want to stay? Should I go? What do we do? And then the sitter text was like, she went to sleep. Like, she can totally spend the night if you're okay with that. And I was like, woosah, because like
Yeah.
I could shut my brain off. Like I didn't have the kids, but I'm still in mom mode.
Mhm.
And so like it never ends. But like you said, it's in everything. It's in relationships, it's in
Mhm.
careers, and it's the long haul. And I
Right.
think, commitment is scary. It can be scary just because
Mhm.
like forever is a long time and
Yeah.
none of us really know what that looks like.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, to build something it's powerful.
Mhm.
And it's empowering, I should say, like, but it
Yes.
feels so good to look back and be like, no, like we did that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
where you
Yeah.
at with it.
So here, I was thinking about a question. So here's our first question for our listeners, but of course we'll answer them. But this is where y'all could jot this down. Where in your life have you kept going even when no one was clapping? Woo! Because I mean,
Mm.
those moments matter just as much as the milestones.
Yeah. Yes. You we're gonna leave that one to sit with the listeners, or we're gonna answer it. What should we do? Because
We can answer it. We can answer it. You know what? I could. I'll dive into it first.
okay.
Because I was just thinking about this, and I want to get, like you said, a spiritual awakening to happen, and I just want to get to a place where I'm not worried about who's clapping for me. So this is
Hmm.
on time again a question. I mean, I think I grew up like that. I grew up expecting disappointment, expecting not to be acknowledged in the way that was fulfilling for me.
Mm.
So I have multiple instances throughout life, and I mean a lot of time, and this is perfect too because like as a kid, I would quit a lot of things
Mm.
because I didn't feel like I had the support to keep going. So when I see my husband, making sure these kids go to basketball, making sure they complete something, or we're talking to Sydney till our faces turn blue. But I have to show up 100% consistently because I
Hmm.
don't feel like I got that for
Yeah.
whatever reason. And I want her to know that we're clapping for her. I want
Hmm.
her to know that despite the resistance, the push and the pull, it's worth it. I tell her all the time because she kind of goes back and forth with her dad. I'm like, I know what it feels like to have a present dad, but your dad is really deep in it with you, and that's something really special. You got to really take that into account. It ain't all about mommy. Um,
Yeah.
so for me, just kind of growing up, but I want to get away from that because as I'm getting older and being in parenthood and really trying to stay the course in this way, I'm really grateful for what I did get because it could have been their maximum capacity.
Yeah.
Cause I know what that feels like. I'm maxed out every day. And I think I'm doing a pretty damn good job, but I'm maxed out every day. I can't I
Mm.
can't imagine what that looks like for someone else that, I'm trying to heal myself, have therapy, do this, get a spiritual awakening, be great, and be a parent and be an entrepreneur and work. Like that's a lot.
Yeah.
So the me now on this side of 35 is really trying to let go of, it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter because the clapping would have been wonderful. I wonder who I could have been with that, but
Hmm.
also I'm pretty great without it, without having had it.
Yeah.
I managed to be someone worth talking about. So, to answer the question, is everywhere. It's in every stage of life for me. And I want this to be the last stage. It's like I'm gonna keep going regardless. I like the claps, but also right now people do clap and I appreciate it.
Hmm.
But it's not something that is the sole nourishing factor of my existence.
Yeah. And it's like, I hear you. And I sometimes I wish like our audience knew us kind of as intimately like as we know each other, because like I
Right.
know exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad you dove in first, because like I wasn't ready
Yeah.
to say what needed to be said.
Mm.
Um and it's so funny because like I don't need the claps, because I know when I'm doing the right thing. Like the
Mm-hmm.
alignment, it's too perfect. And
Right.
so I would love to say ironically, but like in reality, Trey and I had this conversation 2 days ago, like
Mm.
just sitting on the couch. And it was so deep and insightful and really just okay, let me start with answering the question. Where did I keep going? It started with my motherhood journey. It started
Mm-hmm.
when they tried to put me out of high school and send me to a, what do they call those schools?
Yeah.
Um,
I don't they have a
alternative
name, but
school.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like to an alternative school where I could learn life skills because I was becoming a parent. And I was like, oh, well, I still plan to go to college. Like I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not dropping out. Like I can function as a human as it is. I know how to cook, clean, and, do
Right.
dishes or whatever. And so like that was just so offensive, but like and no, not many were clapping for me. I mean, I might have had one or two. I had my mom and like my academic dean or whatever.
Mhm.
Not whatever, because she really did like push for me to stay in the school. And then
Mhm.
she helped me to get MJ in the daycare, right? So I did have
Yeah.
people clapping for me, but there were so many more, and it feels like the silence is always louder.
Mm.
Um, and
Mm.
so it started there and it continued. Like I will never forget. And I love my mother, bless her soul. She was going through a very difficult time. We lost my father, but I'll never forget when I
Mm.
finished undergrad. And it took me a little longer than
Yeah.
the rest of our class. But the good news was that I stayed on track and like we still all finished
Right.
our masters like the same year. But
Right.
when I wanted to go for my master's, like she always wanted me to go to college, but when I wanted to go, and I was just kind of talking to her about the finances of it all,
Mm.
and she was like, "Are you sure you want to go in debt for a piece of paper?" And I
Mm.
was like, "Well, I'm not sure what you mean." And she
Mhm.
was like, "I mean, it just doesn't seem like it makes much sense to put, $45,000 into a degree. Like you went to school. Like what, why do you need it?" And I
Mm.
was like, this is something I said I was going to do. And that's one thing
Mhm.
about me. When I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And so that's
Right.
why this podcast and why this episode is so special because, like, there were so many times we could have quit. Now I'm like getting teary eyed,
Mhm. I
but
know, right?
so many times we could have quit. So many times when, like, the recording schedule didn't line up for us or just technical difficulties like
Mhm.
so many times and she said that and it just hit me and I was like, you know what, like I'm not doing this for you. Like yes,
Mm.
I promised my father that I would finish college. Like I told him, I was like, I will go to college and I will, get my master's. I
Yeah.
didn't tell, I gave myself a personal deadline of 25. And I think I've talked about this before on here. I graduated
Mm.
2 weeks after my 25th birthday and I felt like such a failure.
Mm.
Forget the fact that I actually got the degree,
Right.
but like I felt like a failure because I had missed a deadline I set on myself. But yeah, I say all that to say like my motherhood journey was the beginning of just like not having support and coming out
Mhm.
and beating all odds and having my son. I mean, he is phenomenal. I can't say
Right.
enough good things about him.
Right.
And not that my other children aren't great, but like we really had the odds stacked against us.
Right.
And, we've come from housing vouchers and food stamps to, like
Right.
to where we are now, to six-figure incomes and like owning homes. And that's a blessing.
Mhm.
But we made it without the clapping in a lot of instances.
Mhm.
So, you
Mhm.
know, I say all that to say like it's hard, but staying the course is what matters. And it's so back to, okay, I had to answer the question. I talk way too much. I'm gonna speed through this. The conversation we had, and we were kind of talking about it, and Trey said, like, one of the things I admire about you is that like you really just don't care what people think about you. And I was
Mm.
like, oh, that's crazy that you think that because I do care. I probably care more than most. And he was like, but it
Right.
never shows, Danielle. Like in conversation, like you're not afraid to strike up a conversation in public. It seems like you can carry any conversation anywhere you want it to go. Like you speak so confidently. And, just hearing him say that, and in my head, I'm like, I love that that's what you see, but like
Right.
that's not always how I feel. So to know that just like the hard work pays off
Mhm.
um and it's even to know that like he's secretly clapping for me because he's like, dang, like I wish I could do what you're doing here, but like
Yeah.
my social anxiety is a little higher than that.
Yeah.
And but like really I have the same anxiety. I'm just out
Right.
here knowing that like nobody can be a harder critic of me than myself.
That
So if
part,
I
right.
show up authentically as myself all day every day, then it doesn't matter where I go or what I do because I'm not trying to draft a new narrative in each situation. This is
Right.
just who I am.
Right.
And so, but I told him, I said it was life experiences. I said I had to learn a lot really fast as a young girl. And I
Mhm.
think that's what led me to where I am today and why I don't care. Um, but I mean, I do care, but why I can carry myself like I don't,
Right.
because,
Right.
at the end of the day, I know I'm human, I'm imperfect, and that's just how it's going to be. So I can embrace that. So,
Yeah. Right. I mean, you get through some things that maybe many experience, but like you said, the success of the commitment and the dedication and the grind. I mean,
yeah.
being a teen parent, I'm imagining, right? I mean, I got a front row. Uh so, maybe I'm more than imagining, but yeah, always I've always looked at you in awe, like, wow, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. I'm
Yeah,
like, did she
yeah.
just not like sometimes it's like, well, I guess if anybody had to get pregnant at that age, it'd be Danielle, because of us, I don't know who else was gonna be able to get it done right.
Listen, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just it's like once you make that decision and that commitment, there's no, I knew in that moment
Right.
when my parents gave me a choice, like, what do you want to do? I knew in that moment, I was like, no, my decision is to do this.
Right. Right. And
And I
everything
put
that comes with it.
everything, yep, and not knowing
Yeah.
what that was, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yep. So,
Yeah.
like we could keep rolling.
Okay.
We know kind of what that looks like in our personal lives. So let's bring it into
Mhm.
relationships.
Okay.
Because it's easy to coast. It's boy, that
Mhm.
autopilot in relationships,
Ooh,
that
yeah.
needs to be an episode.
Yeah.
But to
Yeah.
disengage, or like just to even like pull back and go silent when things get hard. Um,
Yeah.
so like what does that look like?
Yeah. And that's interesting to think about, our journey of getting through life without the clapping. And like you said, even being able to receive, your partner's silent claps or whatever. Cause sometimes we can maybe bulldoze through life like, oh, I don't need, I'm good. I got it. I got it. I got it. Um, but really, you know we need that part of them. We need our partners to show up. We need them in the romantic sense, in the parenting sense, and anything else in between.
Hmm.
We need someone to show up for us again and again and again, and that's that commitment. Like, show up for me no matter what version you're getting. A partner that can do that, knowing, I mean, I love you. I always think about this. I always think about this because, we it's few and far between now. Actually, I'm going to tell him that when we get off. I'm really proud of us. We don't have these big arguments anymore. But when we did, and I'd be like, okay, so what are we doing? And he's like, what? We're having a disagreement. What are you saying? Cause,
Yes.
cause I'm like, what are we doing? Cause I can get out, I can go,
Hmm.
and he like, that's not where this is going. What are you saying? So even just building that trust that, like, we can do this, we can disagree, it can be this uncomfortable, and I still love you enough. We were watching something the other day too, and it was the Old Guard. I recommend that to people. That's a good movie.
The second one?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we
Okay,
watched the
okay.
second one. The first one, we watched the first one again, and then watched the second
Okay,
one.
yeah, I'll probably have to. God, that was years ago.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's so good. And it did make me think. I was like, I just said out loud, I was like, you know what? I could do a millennia with you. And he's like, what? Oh, my heart. And I'm like, all right now. But it's so true that he is he is a friend to me in a way that is very similar to, my best friends, but it's
Hmm.
it's different because we have the intimacy piece of it. But like, I
Right.
don't want to do life without you, even when you irritate my soul. I still don't want to do life without you. What am I going to do without somebody antagonizing me? This person, this particular person.
Right. It has to be you.
It
Like that's just
has
I'm
to
trying
be
to tell
you.
you. Like it has to be you.
Yeah, anybody else can kick rocks, but it can only be you. That can do that. So I think being committed to that, to know that this person disturbs my spirit sometimes because he wants me to grow, or because I need to
Yep.
grow, and he is the mirror of the thing that I need to work on.
Hmm.
Um then I'm like, okay, well, Got to keep building on this. Got to keep showing up. I keep telling y'all. I often look at him like he is the better parent, and but like lovingly, I love that respectfully to
Yeah.
myself. Like he got it, and I'm cool with it. So I think just knowing that, like, okay, this person is 100% of everything I need, even when I don't know I need it, and
Mhm.
build on that because when they not showing up when you in a way that you think they need to, you got to have that what that grace is defined as is, but this the person you said you want to do forever with,
Right.
and this is the person that pushes you, this is the person that's clapping for you, this is the person that's supporting you, this is the person that listens to you. So can they have a human experience without it being about, some disturbing things about you, and it's like, well, I guess.
Right, right. It's you know what? I'm trying to think how if Ari's going on to it was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. Um, and I think it was like when our honeymoon phase like officially ended. We were like 3, 4
Mhm.
years in. So I don't know, somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was broken up about it. I was like, but it's been so good. What happened? Like just a mess.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment, like I shouldn't say we, I had a very much like, what are we doing? Like
Right,
is
right.
like, no, it's nothing for me to just get up and go. And he's like, why is that your response? And
Mhm.
he's like, partnership, like long-term partnership, like we have to choose each other every day. If the
Yeah.
day we wake up and like one of us doesn't choose each other, like we both don't, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Like, but like we both have to actively choose each other every single day. And then we
Right,
can deal with everything else that comes with it. But it makes
right.
it so much easier because it's like, no, I know, like it's you. Like you're not my
Mhm,
enemy. We're in this
mhm.
together. It may be hard,
Yes.
but like that's just what it is. And so once we kind of like reframed our mindset around that, like, I mean, we don't have conversations about breaking up or splitting or
Right.
not being a family or like, no, like we don't even talk about it because what? Like,
Right. I'm
I,
finna go out with my friends. I'll be back.
right. But
That's
like,
it.
what I'm not going to do is this here thing with anybody else. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still you and we going to
Right.
work through this.
You're right.
Um, but yeah, that's what I love about partnership. I think just getting boy, when I think about like them young loves, it's just like, wow, we
Oh,
really thought
wow.
we knew it all. And like we had
Tragic.
no idea.
Very tragic.
We had no idea.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's ask our listeners some questions.
Mhm.
What does consistency look like in your relationship right now?
That's good.
What does it look like? Does it exist?
Mm.
If not, I mean, there's time to create it. Again, it took us 4 years to figure out we needed to create it because I guess we thought it was just natural.
Right. And learning that change is the most consistent thing that is gonna happen.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And also, another question here. What are you committed to even when it's not easy or exciting?
Mm. Ooh, that's
Hmm.
good.
That's a
That
good
one
one because,
hits.
yeah, and that takes me right back to the clapping, right? Like it's,
Mhm.
I think we know, and that I can't speak for my current relationship, but just in the
Mhm.
past, like boy, some of them dreams and things that people come with, and it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
support you and I'm committed to this, but like, what what are we serious? You know what I mean? You know what I'm
Right.
talking about, where it's just like, I can't believe this is what you want to do right now,
Right.
given the state of our, like just whatever. That's
Right. And it
yeah.
came at an expense. Like this doesn't
Mhm.
feel like I'm expending or having to be in a red on for myself. Some of them past ones was like, wow, I was nothing trying to help you be something. Oh, never again. Never again. I can never let that happen again. Oh, and that's the
Goodness.
exciting part about that is like, you get in the friend zone and you get to moving around sometimes with your partner. You've been together. I mean, right, I think we're going on 14 years at this point.
Ooh.
And for us, it's like a lot of like his moves used to scare me senseless. I'm like, oh my God, why are you trying to do this? Because he'll take a leap of faith. He's like, nope, can't work for anybody. Doing this on my own, doing that. I'm like, all right, cool. But the growth that came behind that learning how to just, okay, if he falls, then that's fine. That's okay. It wouldn't the house is not gonna crumble.
Right.
How can I support that? And just having conversations and doing all this, work that's behind the scenes. But there's just so much that goes into that. And that's exciting. Now we come together and we sit down. And it's like, okay, how are we gonna get this money? How are we gonna do this? What does this look like? We plan together. I used to hate to have to look at, he would want to look at like $5 million homes. And I'm like, that's so unrealistic. Like I would get literally
Yeah.
agitated. Like, come on,
Right.
man, you wasting my
We trying
time.
to move next year and you're looking at 5 like I get it.
Right.
I get it.
like,
That's just
like,
how
please
we
stop.
think.
Yeah, I'm like, please be for real. Um, but now I love doing it because I
Mhm.
see it. Right. And it's
Yep.
over time we got there. And those are the things that are exciting to us. Like, man, what is this life going to look like? What is it going to look like in another 5 years? Where can we go? So those are the things I appreciate about the commitment in this relationship, particularly. Like I don't have to care about anything in the sense that it's sweet over here. I just I
Mhm.
will
Yeah.
complain, and don't get me wrong. If you in my real life, you're gonna hear me complaining, but also those complaints are because I'm very much secure in the life that I have. I get to complain.
Yep, yep. And you know what I love? What's that quote where they say like the goal isn't what's worth it, like it's the journey you take to reach it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's where the beauty lies, I think,
Yeah.
in relationships. Because that's it. Like you said, the growth, the connection, like the intimacy that you build in those hard times
Mm-hmm.
that allow you to get to that dream state where it's like, no, we can kick up on the couch and look at
Mm-hmm.
$5 million homes if we want to, because we'll
Right.
be there when we're ready.
Right.
Like, yeah. And but
Right.
yeah, I think that brings me so much joy,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the hard times, just knowing like,
Right.
this is all a part of the work we have to do to get where we want to go. Um,
Absolutely.
so,
Yeah.
all right, well, next chapter.
Right. The hard part, these kids.
Right, these children, exactly. The really just, parenting and the slow burn of
Mm-hmm.
progress.
Ooh.
And yeah, I feel like a mockingbird in this house. I just everything I say, she says back. I'm like, I don't think you're understanding though. I don't need you to repeat it. What are we doing?
Right.
Goodness gracious. But I think parenting can teach us a lot
Mhm.
about sticking with things. And we know those results definitely don't come
Yes.
immediately. Those are some
Yes.
of the longest, sometimes they're
Oh,
adults and you're like, I did all right. It took
yeah.
22 years to see this, but it was all right.
I can't
Um,
wait. I can't wait to get to that point.
yeah, but the reality is like we're laying the foundation every day, whether we
Yeah.
see it or not, through the mess, the tantrums, the rinse and
Mhm.
repeat of it all. Um,
Yeah.
it's we're doing it.
Yeah. It's that, the wins are in the like the little things, the day-to-day things, things that feel small now, but
Hmm.
are compounding factors to whoever they're going to be and whatever success they're going to have in their lives. I really I don't understand why an 11-year-old and a 4-year-old fight so much, but here I am. I'm like, well, why? That's where I'm at today. So I just
That
try
is
to,
why I asked 20-year-old Marquise why he comes in the house getting these kids screaming. You are a
right?
full-fledged adult. Why are the kids
Why?
screaming? You're hanging one by the toes and lock the other. Like he just starts stuff. And I'm like, is that
Why?
I guess my siblings and I did that a little bit, but like it just feels so loud and rambunctious with
Yes.
them now. Like, I don't know.
Yes. It's like, okay, I'm just here. I'm overstimulated. And Robert is demanding for somebody to listen to him. All right, here we go. That's it. This is progress. I'm showing up as attentive as I can be. I'm maxed in my capacity. I'm here. Give me a kiss. I love you. Now please go on for a few minutes. That's
Mhm.
that's that's about
Right.
where we at. That it's just the day-to-day stuff is going to matter. And I think I see that I was out and Sydney started bagging the groceries and Robert helped.
Mhm.
from the cart, he liked to put the stuff on the belt, but then he was helping. And everybody in line was like, "Oh my god." The cashier was like, "Oh, they're so great." Da, da, da. I'm like, they just got on my nerve. I just had to kind of like get in their ass in the aisle because they was
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah.
And I was like, "Ah, thank you." But that acknowledgement, I was like, "Oh, I really need to see that." They're like, "Yeah, my daughter understood the assignment. Like, okay, my mom needs my help. There's no one here to do this. I'm gonna do it." And Robert's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it too." But that's what I think when he sees Sydney. I think that's what he's saying. Like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it too." And it was great. I'm like, and Sydney doesn't necessarily do that for praise. She just, I think, already kind of naturally is like, okay, what does mommy need?
Mhm.
And so I'm appreciating that like, yeah, they getting on my nerves, but they're such good kids that
Right.
they deserve everything that they get out of this life, and they deserve for me to show up. If I have to be at max capacity for these kids, I'm
Mhm.
okay with that.
Yep. You know what? Okay, 2 things before we move on, because I got another question.
Uh-huh.
The one, I hear you, and that like kids get it. I feel like I was just talking to Ari's teacher about this because I've figured out like
Mhm.
I wish I knew this with my two other kids, but I've figured out like the way to handle Ari when she's whining or when she wants something that like she can't have, she is a helper at
Mm.
her core. If you give her
Mhm.
a task, yes, mommy, yes,
Mhm.
mommy, okay, mommy, and she will help to oblivion. She will feed the
Yeah.
dog, she will clean up, she will take something from point A to point B. And that redirection changes her
Yeah.
whole mood because now she feels like she has a purpose. Otherwise, she's just standing at
Yeah.
my legs crying and screaming. But
Right.
like when you know what it is in your child that can get them out of whatever that funk is back into like a positive state and just doing
Mhm.
that, oh God, I redirect all day
Yeah.
because I don't know what she wants. She just wants to hang and linger and whine, and
Right.
you don't really want anything but to be busy. So I
Right.
got some busy work for you. Okay. Like she
Right.
helped with laundry. It is so funny, but like she's such a good
Yeah.
helper. Mommy,
Mm.
can you get me two waters? Yes, mommy, two water. And she brings them and she tries to carry three. Uh-oh. Water, mommy. But like she's just talking
Yeah.
more, and it's just like you can really tap into that. And it's still a slow burn. It's still a
Mhm.
slow burn, but at least it's a little less stressful. That's what I found.
Yeah. Yes.
But I
Yes.
can't really test this theory because she's my last one. So
Right.
we'll see. But number two, we were out celebrating, like I said, Trey's birthday yesterday, and my mother-in-law, she said, she was just saying, I was talking about the kids and how I'm just like, bro, like, I want to scream
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I want to cry and have a tantrum. But
Right.
she was working nights when he was little. And so on
Mm.
her days off, she was like, I had to post, I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. But she would post notes around the home saying, like, it's not
Mm.
his fault you're tired. And that was her way to remind herself, like, you can't expect him to sleep all day on the
Yeah.
weekend because you had to work overnight. And I
Right.
think like that's really what it looks like in those burnout
Mhm.
moments, still showing up because we know it matters, even though
Yeah.
we can't see that in the moment,
Right.
like it,
Absolutely.
yeah. So once we do all that, removing all that from the surface, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but here's a question. So,
Mhm.
what's something you've done over and over again for your child, even when you didn't feel like it was working?
Mm.
Like, yeah, I think just really showing that true love and resilience there.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's one I would really, have to think about. I think
Hmm.
predominantly it's just talking to them. I
Yeah.
think number one is like not giving physical punishment. On a very general level, it's like coming down and saying, okay, I'm going to have to give you space to talk out your feelings
Hmm.
because whooping you into submission is just really not effective, although it's going to feel good to me.
Right.
There's really no point to do it, and I don't know if it would even work. But like, and talking does not feel like it's working. It's just like, why haven't you learned this lesson yet? Like, why are we here again
Right.
and again and again and again? And it's very simply, like, they're still a kid. Like, I'm looking at my daughter, like, she's still only 10. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a different mindset at 10, but, like, she's only 10. She has the right to do whatever kids do.
Hmm.
And, you just have to show up, So what's something you've done over and over again for your child? Show up.
Right.
Show up
Right.
every day.
I'm
Like,
t- the first thing that came
that's
to my
it.
mind was potty training.
Yeah.
Because like what if you know you need a diaper change, why don't you know you need to get on the toilet? And it just feels like it shouldn't take that long. Like it
Yeah.
really like Chase was 4.
Mhm. Mhm.
We started at like 2. It
Mhm.
was just a lot. And it's just like, what am
Yeah.
I doing? And then it's like, well, just wait until they're ready. Well, yeah, y'all been saying that and he's 4. And he's still like, what are we
Child,
doing? You know what I mean?
when you
Like
come to tell me
it's
bring me a diaper now, what are we doing? Why you can't just get on the toilet?
just get on the toilet. I'm telling you, but oh yeah, that y'all sit with that. Let share
Right.
some thoughts on it. What is your thing? Because boy, that and homework, I don't know. Like this
Oh,
this
oh,
isn't working.
oh. Why? Please don't give them homework because we can't do it. We as parents can't do it. Please petition that. Make that a bill. Don't give these kids no homework because I don't want to do
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Well,
Right.
I think that was a lot. We unpacked the
Mhm.
relationships, the parenting, just the overall
Yeah.
commitment that it takes to
Yeah.
succeed in this thing,
Yeah. In
called life.
life.
Yes,
Right.
yes. And just remember, like consistency is powerful, and not
Yeah.
because it's perfect.
Right.
It's so far from perfect, but like you said, presence. That's the
Mhm.
main goal here. But it really does build trust, and I think
Yeah.
with that trust just comes the reassurance and the safety and the space that
Right.
we need to continue.
Absolutely, right? Trust in your relationships, trust with your kids, but most importantly, trust with yourself that you can
Mm,
be resilient and strong. You could tell me all day I'm strong and resilient. But if I don't believe that, if I don't trust that feeling, then it doesn't matter, right? So
yeah,
trust within yourself first, and know that you don't have to have all the answers. You just got to keep showing up. The answer's going to come.
yeah, they will. They always will.
Yep.
That's part of the process. Like
Yeah.
you have to know that.
Yeah.
So don't miss it, right? Sometimes people are looking for the next step, and it's like you're missing it. It's right
Yeah.
here.
It's
They're gonna come,
right.
but you have to first act. Um,
Yes.
so this week we invite you. I know we asked some great questions in there,
Mhm.
but just a piece of reflection. Like where have you been consistent, and how has it changed you?
Mm.
Just think about that. Sit with it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's good. And here's another one too. Something a little simple challenge to add to that. Celebrate yourself for something you've stuck with, even
Mm,
if no one else saw it. So when you think about where you've been consistent and where it's changed you, is that worth celebrating? Because if it
mhm.
is, go ahead on and do that. Like I said at the top, my rose was me.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty great out here. I love how I show up at work. I'm like, wow, I'm the black lady I wanted to be. I love
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
So
and
I
pat
want
yourself
that
on
for
the back
y'all.
and raise a glass
Absolutely.
to yourself,
Yes.
whatever that looks like. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, we're just so proud. I'm proud of
Yeah.
us, right? As
Yes. Yes.
individuals and as a team, and just with this
Yeah.
podcast.
Absolutely.
Proud to be here with our listeners, to everyone who stuck it out with us. We got a
Yeah.
strong, I'm gonna shout out, and if it's
Yeah.
you, please tag me.
Yes.
We got a strong 6
Yes.
who support us through it all, week to week. They are there.
Mhm.
And thank you. Thank you for growing with us and
Yeah.
for listening and for sharing this space.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, if this episode gave you something, a breath, a perspective shift, a little courage, share it, tag us, send it to a friend, or drop a comment with your favorite takeaway. Do all the social media things, anything I missed, do all of that in between.
All of it. All of
Yes.
it. So, I mean, y'all know what we say every
Mhm.
episode. Come
Mhm.
as you are and take what you need.
That's right. So, we'll give you 2 weeks. So we're giving y'all some extra time to get these questions going and celebrate yourself. So in those 2 weeks, go back and go through some of these previous recordings, catch up. But, until then, keep showing up for yourself. Keep trusting yourself. You're doing better than you think.
Hmm. That's true. And this is for the Mamas Collective. This is
Mhm.
our space, our podcast, and we appreciate you. So thank you for sticking with us.
Absolutely. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.